What's going on, everybody? Castle Crag here, and we're back with part 2 of the How to Make Let's Play Thumbnails series. This will be the final part of the series, and in it I will show you how to go from this template that we made in the last video, which is right here, from this to a bunch of numbered templates, or numbered pictures rather, that you can upload as thumbnails for each video in your Let's Play series. So to begin, right, I have this PowerPoint open. Now this is one that I've created with a macro. Macro here is how we're going to create the numbers in about 2 seconds. If I ran this right now, you'll see a number is going to appear here. If I have multiple slides, and I do it again, run that, you'll see each slide is going to be numbered the same number as the slide number right here. So let's go back to the beginning here. All right, so to get to that point, you need to create a new presentation, new blank presentation, and go ahead and exit. And it's important to note, by the way, before we get started, macros do not apply to slide PowerPoint presentations other than the one they are created in. So you can see right now, if I hit macros, I'm not going to get anything because I have macro in presentation 1. However, if I go to this one, it's going to go ahead and show. If I tried to run this in presentation 1 over here, it shouldn't work, I don't think. It might, because the other one's open, work. So I'm not sure it does work. Okay. But if I were to close the other one, it would not work. I can tell you that right now. And I'll prove that by closing the other one, which is right here, prototype background. We can close that. And now, if I go to macros, it doesn't appear. It won't show up because it is only in that one presentation. So now I got to open that other one back up. Give me a second here to open that back up. Nope. There it is. It's kind of hard to tell right now because they're both blank, but this is the the original one right here with the macro. So what I'm going to do is go into here and edit this one. So I'm going to copy all of this, and then we'll go through it in a second. So right now, I'm going to close this, and we have no macros available, right? I'm going to hit Visual Basic. All right. Oh, it's important to note, you have to have the developer tools option available, and obviously this has to be in Microsoft PowerPoint. It doesn't work in anything other than PowerPoint. So that is a prerequisite for being able to do this, as far as I know. I don't think that you can run any kind of VBA in Google Slides, and I don't know of any other tools that you can use. So to make sure that you have developer tools, let's see if I can remember. Customize the ribbon. So you need to come over here, customize the ribbon, and you need to make sure developer tools is checked. If not, I know there's another way to do it. I don't remember going through all of this. But yeah, you just right click on these, customize the ribbon, and it should just pop up with all the different tools. And you make sure developer tools is checked. So we don't have any macros right now, obviously. So we hit Visual Basic. Over here we go insert module. All right, and now we have this blank space, blank page, where you can insert Visual Basic code. Now this is code, this is programming. I'm just going to go ahead and insert this because I've already got it pasted, but we'll go over what all of this is. So this is a function, I think. Not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure this is just a function, right? I'm not completely familiar with VBA, but I am a computer science student. I understand how to code. and I can get the general idea of what each of these are, right? So these first 3 lines right here, which I'll go ahead and separate, these are variable declarations. And to put comments in, it's just single quotes. So right here, dim, I'm guessing that's maybe for dimensions or whatever. SLD, I choose this name, SLD. I could choose this to be anything that I want as slide. So I'm declaring a slide variable as SLD, rather. SLD as slide. So SLD is now an empty slide object that I can then go through later on. OSLD is shapes. It's an empty shape object, which I'll use for the text box. And shapes right here is just an empty integer. It's what I'm going to use as the number. To start with, I go through each slide and make sure every shape in it is deleted. And that's so when I run the code, right, if I had the initial text box in here with whatever in it, right, assume that that's, just pretend that these are the numbers in the spot, right? If I run this, it's going to delete that first and then put the numbers in. That way you don't get it, you can run it a couple times and it'll delete this and then put in a number rather than put in a number over the top of this one so that you have like, a new number every time without deleting this one. If that wasn't there, let's go ahead and show you what happens. If this all isn't here, I don't know how to do multi-line comments. Can I? Comment all of that? No, I can't. Let's just do individual lines. And get rid of this. Get rid of some of the extra space here, just for the sake of neatness. So if I ran this right now, you won't be able to see a difference. Except, now that number's there. That number's there. And if we run it again, it should put in another one. It is. Put in another one. See that? And it didn't even do all the formatting stuff because something got messed up. But you notice it's not deleting the ones that were there before, which is kind of an important thing to do. When you want to delete you. An important thing to do, right? Because I want to run this multiple times, maybe if I'm creating more slides, and I don't want it to put a number on top of everything. So if I hit that again, now you'll see there's only one. It deleted the first one that was over here and put a new one in where I wanted it. That's what this all does. So now it'll only delete the first text box that's in a slide, because, oh, maybe not. Shapes. No, it'll go through every shape in the slide. All right, so if I have multiple text boxes in here, let's see, it should actually go through. Sorry, I'm looking at all this, and then we insert another text box, whatever, blah, blah, blah stuff in it. It should delete all of that, actually, because it's going to go for each slide in the active presentation. So that's going to go through every slide. And for each shape, delete the shape. So if I run this again, 3 is not in the valid range of 1 to 1. Oh, I guess it does not work. How interesting. Oh, you know what? It deleted 2 of the things in here. That's fine. And that's fine. It's whatever it is. Doesn't make much of a difference. Just ensure that there's only one thing in your slides, right? Make an empty slide. It's easy to run. I could probably put something in that ignored that and went through every slide, but instead, just make sure your slides are empty. It's pretty easy to do because you just open a new one and set empty slides. We're going to move on from here. If I run this now, it should work. Yeah, works perfectly fine. So, next, what you're going to do is look at this area. That makes sense. Anyways, we're going to look here next. So if slide.slide number is less than 10. So I have this in here so that it adds zeros in front of all of the 1 through 9 because I like keeping it at 2 digits. Right? So right here, if slide number is less than 10, then add a text box, orientation horizontal. This is going to be the positioning of the text box, which we will mess with in a little bit. This here is the size of the text box. This is the text that we add, which in the case of numbers 1 through 9, the text we add is number sign, 0, and then this is how you concatenate, and then the slide number. If it is not 1 through 10, or 1 through 9 rather, then you just add the number sign and then the slide number, because that's already going to be 2 digits. Hopefully we don't get to 3 digits, but I can mess with the positioning afterwards. Most series shouldn't get that far. And then you end that if statement. So that's through every slide, right? So if we have, I'll show you, say 12 slides right here, right? If I click play, you'll notice 0, 0, 8, 0, 9, and then 10. That way it's 2 digits and it stays about the same size the text does the entire way through. Let's go ahead and delete back down just so it's simpler and easier to see. The next part right here. This is just so that this with SLD shapes SLD.shapes1.textframe2. We have since there's only going to be one text box, one shape in there, I use the static number 1. If that's not the case, if you want multiple things in there, you can mess with this a little bit more, and I suggest looking up Visual Basic on the internet. But it's not necessary for our purposes. But this just allows me to, anywhere underneath it, go dot, in this case, text range. And this, what this means here is underneath it, right? SLD dot shapes1, there's an index dot, textframe2 dot text range, right? It just prevents me from having to type all of that out multiple times every time that I'm doing this. So it's a nice little shortcut. So this first line here centers the text in the box. This second area here is another with statement, which means everything underneath it is all of that, dot all of that, dot, in this case, size, which is going to be the text size. Dot bold, true, means the text is going to be bold. This is the font, and you can choose any font. For my purposes, I like using Impact because it's bold and easy to see. And then this is the color that you fill it in. In this case, a red, RGB values. Right? Fill for color dot RGB, and then you have to give it an RGB variable to get this nice red color, which I think pops against most video thumbnails. Then you end this with here. So we're no longer in the dot font. This is for formatting the text. So this is back up to here with SLD.shapes.1.textframe2.3D. And in this case, I'm doing a bevel. So bevel top, bevel angle, which gives it this kind of shape to it, which again helps it pop out against the background. Depth, a little bit irrelevant. It you know, that sets I think kind of the level of the bevel. No rhyme intended there, but it just sets it so that it's easier or harder to see, fainter, less faint. It's a 3D art thing, and it doesn't make too much of a difference as far as I can tell. Like if I set this to 2 right now, let's say 2.5, I don't think we're going to see it change that much. I'm going to set it off screen so that we can watch it change. And I ran it right there. Right, you can't see a difference. So just leave it at 4.5. There might be a max number. I don't know. But we're just going to leave it at 4.5. .contour.color. This is the outline. So this is that black outline to it. Right? That's why it's at 000, which is the RGB value for black. And then .contour width is the stroke of this outline. In this case, 3 pixels, I believe. Where? Right here. And this width and this width. Next slide. So this is a for loop, which means it's going to loop through every slide. So then it would go to the next slide and do all of this. And then we end. Pretty simple. You can all copy this. And now what we're going to do is exit there. So that's how you would make this template PowerPoint. No, don't save. Which, like my background, which is this one right here. It's this blank PowerPoint that I can then save as, and in this case I'll go into Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy. I already have one saved here right now, but you would save it as a new PowerPoint in here. Since the macros don't carry over, right, we keep this same PowerPoint open, but we save it to something different so that this one is still a PowerPoint, right? If I click Save As right now and replace this, now we're in the Sphinx background one, but I can go in here and open this back up and it's still there. So we have that macro that we can apply to any set of thumbnails that we want to create. Now we'll begin the process of working with the image. So I'm going to make about 50 slides here. And to do all of this, by the way, you click on your first slide and you click Control and then hold, right click and hold Control D, which is the shortcut for duplicate. So we're duplicating this empty slide however many times you want. I usually start with a baseline of 50. A lot of series will go about that long, give or take. Come back up to the first slide. Or not, it doesn't make any kind of a difference really. Right click the slide in the panel over here. Click Format Background. Over here, you have options for different fills. Click Picture Fill, Insert, and you're going to find that template that you made in the previous video with GIMP. In this case, it is in Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, Background Template, Insert. Now you'll notice right now, it's only in one slide. So all you have to do is click Apply to All. And boom. It's in all slides. There's another way to do it using the Slide Master, and I think that's... I don't remember where that is, to be honest. Might be in Design. It's in Design somewhere. Oop. No, I want that back. Pin, there we go. Whew. But anyways, from that point, you're going to go ahead and, instead of clicking, you can click Run and see what it looks like, but we can see right now that the numbers aren't lining up perfectly with the mountains. So what I am going to do is click on this and click Edit. So to change things, right, all we have to do is come here where it says left and top. These are the only numbers we're probably going to have to change. You may need to change the text size, which is right here. And in our case, I might knock it down maybe 2 points. And you know what? Just because, let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing you do is check if you need to change the text size. Because if you align it and then have to change the text size, you're going to have to align it again. So if I click that, click run, text size has gone down in every slide, all the way through number 50. Which you can see down here is numbered, number 50. Next, what we do is change this. So if, let's see if I can just shrink this down enough. And I want to scroll. Come on. All right, we just need to be able to see the numbers here. And we can see everything else that we need to. So right now, it's a bit too far to the right. So these numbers, left top, are left 63. So it is the text box here, which you can see this corner of the text box right here. This top left corner is 63 pixels in, or I don't think it's pixels. It's whatever their unit is. And then 308 down from here, this top left corner. Don't ask me what the measurements are in. They're not in pixels, obviously, because 380 pixels in, what, in 1080 would be, what, to like here? Though it does look like it's about 63 pixels in, so I don't know. What we're going to do first is just mess with this. Let's see, we were at 63 before. Let's try 58. That's not even close to enough. 55. And you only have to do it on this one to check the positioning, right? Even less, wow. 53? So maybe you need to move 10 in. No, a little bit more. 52. That looks pretty good. And it needs to come down, I think, just a tad. So I'm going to increase this 380 to 385. Let's try. Try 5 down. That looks pretty good. Positioning, it looks fairly centered on the mountains here. It might be a bit off, but that's okay. If we want, we can just go up to 387. Let's try. And then I actually want to move it left just a touch. So let's try 50. Maybe. At this point, it's just how anal you're going to be about it. Really. I like to be as perfect as possible. If I minimize that, that looks pretty good. Look at a couple different numbers, because, you know, 5 is a little bit bigger than 1, since this is just a line, basically. 2, 4, 5 is a bit wider. You can see it's still within here, perfectly fine, though it might need to move down a bit more. So we'll go back to 387. The reason we only bother changing the top one is because that's all we need to see to test. And once we get it set with this top number here, the bottom one just gets set to the same numbers right here. Boom. And there you have it. Right there. All the way down through 50. Centered fairly well within here. You can shrink or increase the size of the text as you want with the size right here, and then just mess with it left and right till you get it to the position you want. Just for the sake of clarity, if I put this at 0, 0, we'll see it'll be up here in the top left. But that's all good for here. You just X out of that, and anytime you want to run it, you can just click macros, numbers, run. So if I wanted to add, say, 100 more slides, or not 100, but if I wanted to add slides up to 100, I just Control D to duplicate all the way down to 100 macros. Click it and run. And now you can see at 100 we have issues because it's 3 digits rather than just 2. So you'll need to mess with, in this case, if you want to see it. We need to mess with the text box size. So right here, width would need to change to, let's say, 230. Would that do it? No, wouldn't quite do it. 250. In that case, it would work. But then I'd have to change the entire background template to fit in the number. Which I'm not going to do right now. So that would be an issue if you have triple-digit episode numbers. But all the way up through double digits, it's fine for mine. And if you don't have this mountain thing as your background, then the triple digits is perfectly fine. You just mess with the box size and the positioning will be the same. You can set anything you want as a background. You can even set a background for the numbers here if you want, which is going to be... Let's see, fill.forecolor, and if I go fill.backcolor.rgb equals RGB, let's just go white. See what that does. Huh, that did nothing. Hold on. It does nothing for these ones because of the 3D text. And that's for the text range. But if I go ahead and get out of this shapes, sld.shapes1 dot background style dot No, not what I want. Shapes dot. Let's see what these all are. All right, hold on. Dot. Text frame 2. Give me a second here. All right, there we go. I just figured it out real quick. So what you would do to give a background color to these, if you don't have something in your image, is you would go into this and just put it at the end so that it happens after everything. sld.shapes1.fill.forecolor.rgb, and then look up an RGB value that works. For right now, I just filled it with white, but you can see there's a white background, so this would stand out. You could also outline that so that it looks a little bit nicer. And nope, not what I want. Okay. Which would be this. All right, you'd go .line.weight, and then whatever kind of stroke you wanted the line outline around it to be, and then you'd set the color around it. In this case, if we hit play, so we'll have the background white, and then a black line of 3 around it. And you could set that in your videos, and it'd look pretty good, actually. And then you just position that wherever you want. And, you know, if you don't have the mountain as a background. For mine, I use that mountain. I don't need any of this. So I'll just run this as it is. And voila, we have our numbers. But anyways, that is how you automate the numbering process. I know it took quite a while in this video, but once you set up that initial PowerPoint presentation, this, let's go ahead and exit that. This template right here that has the macro in it, it's actually fairly easy. You just go ahead and import your picture, and again, we'll go ahead and I'll show you how easy it is. I'll delete, and then we'll go solid fill. And so what you would do, again, boom, This is how quick it is. Ready? Let's go up to there. Fine. Macros. Numbers. Run. Done. And then you have to mess with the numbers sometimes just to get the positioning right. But, you know, it's that easy. Makes automating these a breeze. If you use the same background anyway. If you want to make a different picture for each video, this doesn't exactly work. But if you want, you know, the same kind of picture and then you just want to number them and you don't want to have to create, you know, this one, add the number, do the same thing, add the number, save it as an image, change the number, save it as an image, change the number, save it as an image. If you don't want to do that, this is your shortcut. And it's very easy. So in the description, I will either have the code for the Visual Basic application or a link to a text file with it. Some version of that, depending on what I'm allowed to put in the description of a YouTube video. Looks nice though, doesn't it? Oh, and last thing to do, by the way. You know, we have this, so I'll go ahead and save it just as a PowerPoint. So it's saved, has 53 slides, doesn't matter. Come down to, go over to File, Save As. Instead of a PowerPoint macro-enabled presentation, come all the way down, PNG. And then you'll see all the stuff that's in here. Click Save and all slides. It's going to take a minute. It's converting every slide to a PNG. It actually goes fairly quickly, all things considered. You know, there's 53 pictures here, and it's done. And now if we look in this folder, there's a new folder right here, named the same thing as your PowerPoint. If you come in here, you see each slide all the way through, saved as a PNG that you can upload as your thumbnail. And they're even numbered in here. It's very nice. And it makes Let's Play video thumbnails a breeze. Whew, so nice. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe for more video game content. Stay tuned for my series on Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy coming in the near future. I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.